And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the always pressing PGA DFS podcast, previewing the 2021 Charles Schwab Challenge at the Colonial Country Club, where we've seen that many, many times. And we'll get into that in a bit, but you can find myself on Twitter at BDentric, the podcast at Always Press DFS, and my co-host, as always, on Twitter at DFS Golf Gods. Jesse, how we doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm kind of jealous after I sat and really thought about what you got to do this past week. That's a lot of golf on a really good golf course, so I'm really jealous.
Yeah, I'm dragging today. Played a lot of golf. Didn't watch a lot of golf until yesterday, but I don't understand. I still don't get it, man.
Which part of it? How Phil won?
How fucking Phil Mickelson can win that golf tournament?
I'm like you. I was sitting there going, how did this happen? At the same time, I'm just like, this is freaking awesome. Like,
it was great.
It was so awesome because, and I talked about in the Slack chat, like we talked about different winning lineups, and I said, hey, whoever played Phil, more power to you. There was no chance he was coming in any of my lineups, not any chance. I could have had 150 max, and he might have hit maybe like 3 or 4. Like, there's no way he was playing.
I mean, the thing about Phil, so like he had that really good round. What was it? He opened with the 64 at the Wells Fargo. Mm-hmm. So you kind of see a little bit of a flash there. He's figured something out. I think it goes 75, 76, 76.
Yeah.
I mean, his finish is 69th miscut, 21st miscut, 25th, 23rd. I mean, what tells you anywhere that he's going to like even top 10?
Yeah.
At a major.
Wild. Well, he's 200. It was 200 to 1. Some places 300 to 1, depending on when you got your line. And you saw some of those things getting posted out there. And I saw David Purdom, who I think he still works for ESPN, but he does the Vegas stuff. And he said when Tiger won the Masters, it was one of the biggest hit the books has ever taken. Right. This is a very close second.
Really?
So a lot of people put a lot of money on Phil.
It had to be live, though, right? I mean, because nobody...
A lot of the slips that were posted on Twitter, real or fake, that's up for debate. But you saw like people put a couple $100 down on these 200 to 1s. Like guys were winning 30,000 plus, some in 6 figures. It's freaking nuts.
Yeah. I mean, when he was leading, I kept saying, I kept telling everybody, like, just wait, give it time.
Yeah.
It's I've seen this song and dance.
It's like we were in the same room.
Yeah. I've seen this song and dance. And then, I mean, it's just unbelievable. I mean, it was awesome, but it's unbelievable.
Yeah. I was with one of my buddies who always made fun of us for liking and playing golf. All of a sudden now plays golf with us. And it really made us laugh that we finished up a little 9-hole skins on Friday afternoon, and he goes, hey, put at the pro shop or in the little shop area outside the pro shop, goes, hey, put the PGA on. It's still on. I'm like, what did you just say? He's all Phil and Brooks are both kind of hanging around up top. I'm like, who the hell are you right now? But he's like, this is awesome. I said, yeah, I did the same thing. Just wait. Like, this is great. He's doing it. We've seen him do it for a round or two, but the implosion's coming. Like, he's going to have the blow ups, and at this course, it'll eat your lunch. Like, it's coming. Even when he hit bad shots, he scrambled his way to goodness. Like the longest golf course in major history, a 50-year-old just won. Yeah. It's bananas.
Did you see that drive he hit on the back 9 there? I think it was on the last par 5.
The 16th where he outdrove Brooks?
Yes.
Dude, it was, first off, like I see Brooks hit his, and I tweet out something like, Brooks just like said, okay, come get it, big. Like, I'm coming to like eagle this hole. And then Phil just bombs away, is right past it. Yeah. I think someone said it was 177 miles an hour, one was 179. Longest drive of the week at that hole.
I know. It's amazing. I mean, I know the wind was at their back, whatever, but still.
I don't care.
I don't either. That's a bomb. I mean, that's just
especially when you have a 2 to 3 stroke
after it.
You know, 2 to 3 stroke lead, and you said, I don't care. Like, you could have played that so safe. So safe. He's like, nope.
The only thing that would have made it better is if it was past Bryson.
Yeah, that would have been great. Bombs over bombs. But it was just nuts seeing everything he did. I thought of you so much on 18 there, where he basically said, I'm going to go hit the grandstands. Like, I'm taking the water and everything, or the bunkers out of play. I'm going straight to the people in the grandstands. I'm like, Jesse's got to be loving this.
Why would you not aim it down the left? Like, if I'm playing that hole, I'm aiming at the grandstand down the left.
Yep.
Is there out of bounds there? No. Nope. I mean, like, that hole, that's really a ridiculous setup to me, in my opinion, but they didn't ask for my opinion, so that's why you get shit like that. And but yeah, I mean, dude, it was just an insane scene.
Yes,
I'm assuming that people just said, "Fuck you, we're going across the line here, and we don't care."
It's one of those, like, you've been at an event. There's like maybe one security guard every 100 to 200 yards. So maybe in the last group they kind of consolidate, and you have one every 25 to 30 yards. You still ain't stopping those people.
Yeah.
It was a scene.
wild.
Like, someone said it best. It's like a scene out of Happy Gilmore when they're marching up 18 on Happy Gilmore.
Well, you remember the PGA Tour Championship, when Tiger won it, 2018.
Mm-hmm.
You remember that scene when he was walking down, him and Justin Rose? Justin Rose won the FedEx Cup or whatever, but Tiger won that.
Yeah. It was just weird though, because for many reasons, but apparently COVID's over, so that's good. I'm just watching it. Like, I kept wanting to type so many things on Twitter, but people don't have a sense of humor anymore.
Listen, it has not even existed in the South since it started.
I know, it's fine. But like sitting here in California, we're like one of the 3 states that still has a mask mandate. I'm like, oh, this is freaking awesome. Like you see the Garden on Saturday night or whatever, Sunday, and then you see this. I'm like, COVID's over, but. That's cool, but it was weird though, because the crowd thing was fine. I was shocked that literally it engulfed the golfers.
Yeah,
like they're on Phil's back. Brooks, the guys were like hitting his knee, and he felt like uncomfortable. I'm like, that's when hello, that's a little too freaking much, people.
Yeah. I was surprised when they completely took him over. Like, cause I figured they were just walking at the front of the group, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, where in the fuck are the golfers?
Mm-hmm. And they're already around the green and there's no golfers.
Yeah. It was a weird situation. I felt, as far as, I'd be pissed off too if I was Brooks.
Yeah.
He's not going to win the tournament, but he could make a birdie there and make a shit ton more money than what he made. I know he made $1 million, but still he was in the tie for second.
And what if he messes up his knee again and now he's out of the U.S. Open in 3 weeks?
Yeah, well,
like little minor things like that.
Let's talk about Brooks for a second, because
it's big dick energy. Like I wanted nothing more than to have him finish that thing out.
Well, I was actually rooting for Phil, believe it or not. But I'm just like, what would make you play? Because we talked about it last week. What would make you play Brooks on DraftKings or bet him after what you had seen over the last few weeks out of him, and the fact that he's limping around, and then he comes out and does that? Like, it just blows my mind. I guess that literally he just has a switch he flips for majors. That's the only thing I can figure out, because it makes no sense to me.
Yeah, they showed the stat that he has finished, I think, in the top 5 in 39.2% of his majors. Only Tiger Woods has been better.
Well, he's 60 shots better than DJ, who's in second place since 2017 in major championships. He's 84 under par. DJ's like 20 something under par. So 60 shots better.
Big game hunting. We say it all the time, but it's like, it's legit when you look at all the numbers. And it sucks because we said it, like, why would you play Brooks with this, that, and the other? And I still I stand by it, but it's just like, now at the U.S. Open, I'll probably have some Brooks, and he's going to shoot like 7 over and not even make the cut.
100%. So, that's definitely happening. Go ahead and pencil that one in. Now. Yeah.
But it was awesome to see, because I just love it. Like, Sunday was a rough day for him. You could tell he was really having some issues out there, like hitting the golf ball. But up till Saturday, he had that swagger. He had that. He was just walking around going, if you let me hang around, Phil, it ain't going to end well for you. But it's kind of like what he did at the U.S. Open with Gary Woodland. He was right there, and then he kind of fell apart on Sunday, where it's like literally Brooks could have a couple more majors if he just plays like even to like 1 or 2 under on Sundays now. It's crazy.
I know.
But the other thing with Phil, and I don't want to talk too much more about Phil, but just one of the crazy stats, he finished, what was it? Was it 8 under? He finished 7, 8 under, 7.
I believe it was 7. Yeah,
7 under. He made 22 birdies. The most he's ever made in a major. Most he's ever made in a major.
A lot of birdies at that golf course.
That's a lot of bogeys too. But it tells you what but that's his mentality. I'm going all or nothing.
He finished 6.
Yeah. Oh, 6 that week?
Yeah, he finished 6 for the week.
It's most for him then. But
no, he finished 6 under.
Oh, 6 under. Gotcha. So that's
he had
16 over basically.
16 bogeys or doubles, whatever, whatever.
That's crazy. That's just a stat. When I saw that, I'm like, 22 birdies. Okay, cool. Oh wait, he's only 6 under. Holy crap! That just tells you like the ups and down roller coaster ride. But side note, and like we could literally talk about this all day, and we can if you want. I really don't care, because it was major golf at its finest. It was absolutely amazing. Like, we haven't had tournaments like this in a long time, but that golf course, amazing. Yeah. Absolutely, everything about it. Just every time I turned the TV on, it looked beautiful. I'm a big greens fan. The greens looked amazing. I like the fact wind. I play in a place where every 2 o'clock in the afternoon the wind starts and goes anywhere from 10 to 30 miles an hour every day. You never know what you're going to get. So I'm used to the wind. But on the ocean, all that stuff, I loved everything about that golf course. It needs to be in a major rotation somewhere way more than like every 11 or 12 years.
Yeah, I do think it could play just a touch harder, and I think I'm not going to sit here and say like that it should, but I don't know. I also just have an issue with Phil Mickelson winning a major at 50, but
It is tough. It is tough. Like
the
on paper,
fairways
that
were
should not have
massive, but
happened.
I totally get why, because I actually played with a guy this past week who went to the College of Charleston, and he said he's played this golf course 100 times, and I was like, "Are the fairways wide?" He's like, "Yeah, they're huge," but he's like, the wind is always blowing across, so it's super hard to hit everything because you're always dealing with a 20, 30 mile an hour wind. So, I get it. But I mean, 600 wins, it's not a terrible score. I wish I could have watched more of it, but
yeah, I'm with you.
And I think Sunday didn't do it justice necessarily with the kind of wind switch.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I was trying to find a stat. I saw it earlier. The wind switched on Sunday, and they showed the difference in the holes where the wind was behind them. It was just a crazy, just total
it was
switch
like 1,400 over par versus Sunday 2,700 par or something.
It was crazy, but the ESPN coverage is pretty good for the most part. Like Scott Van Pelt he's just the greatest at pretty much everything he does. Just let him have the mic and let him go. CBS is still CBS. So
he's a big Higgs guy. Did you hear that part?
That's where we were gonna go with this. Is I tweeted you yesterday about it because I thought it was fun. Our boy Higgs just got into the Masters.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine? Because we'll have fans back,
right.
And like the par 3 tournament with Higgs and the glasses and the hair just flowing. Like, he might have a cocktail in hand for that.
I'm surprised that he played so well. I mean,
like out of nowhere.
Yeah, I know. He hasn't been playing that great.
No, that was
golf,
wild.
Man.
That's golf, but that was fun. There's a couple other big finishes that kind of surprised me. You looked at the leaderboard and it was all said and done. You're just like, whoa, where did they come from? Oh, where'd they come from? Like, that is because so much carnage and you're just kind of focusing on the guys up top, and it was wild. But also bookmark for next time around, just play the South Africans. That's like Bezenhout, Grace, and Usti. They were all in it till late, and then Bez kind of fell apart, and Grace did his thing, but Usti was still there. So
we're the Irish guys. Lowry and Podrick were up there.
Yeah. So, I like Lowry a lot. I didn't have any idea of Podrick, but yeah, Lowry. It's just something about those links golf with the weather makes you have to makes you want to check the box. Can Phil do the Open next year? Just throwing it out there. It's gonna be weird, but all right. We've talked about this enough. Like, we could literally go through talk about all the players here and there. Is some great golf. Lastly, is Ricky back or no?
No.
Okay. I want to get that on the table right now.
It's funny. One of my buddies texted me that he's like, Ricky's back. And I was like, no. And he's like, where he belongs. Congratulating the winner.
You see Rom cut in front of him that gets the first hug, and then Strumlin get left hanging. Yeah, that was one of the best walks ever.
God, Phil.
Oh, Phil's just
fig jam, man.
Oh yes, it's amazing. But yeah, okay, we'll leave it at that. So much cool stuff. There's other podcasts that will just do a full recap, so go listen to those. But let's talk about some DFS for the week. The Charles Schwab Challenge at the Colonial Country Club. We've got a lot of event history here. So what do you got?
Last year, this is like one of the first events back.
It was, I believe, the first event back.
Was it the first?
I believe so.
Daniel Berger. So the good thing about this tournament is it's not left Colonial ever, has it?
No, it's been there since like 46 or something.
Yeah, so it's been the same golf course, Colonial Country Club there in somewhere in Texas. Anyways, Daniel Berger won last year in the playoff, 15 under over Colin Morikawa. Kevin Na was the 2019 champion, 13 under, 4 shots over Tony Finau. Justin Rose was the 2018 champion, 20 under, 3 shots over Brooks. Kevin Kisner, which, speaking of Kevin Kisner, have you seen how many missed cuts he's got in a row?
Yeah, it's been a rough go.
We're going to talk about him here.
I got him on my list to talk about later because of his price. But yeah,
10 under, 1 shot over Sean O'Hare, John Rahm, and Jordan Spieth. Jordan Spieth, 2016 champion, 17 under, 3 shots over Harris English. Chris Kirk was the 2015 champion, 12 under, 1 shot over Jason Bone, Sneds, and Spieth. Adam Scott's won this. Zach Johnson's won it twice. Phil Mickelson's won this golf tournament twice. Speaking of which, I'm surprised Phil hasn't withdrew, but
I'm still waiting for it. It's got to be coming. Like, he was the way he literally said he was lit on Twitter last night on the plane. Yeah, he's got to be feeling pretty good right about now.
Have you seen? I don't know if and you probably haven't seen this, but this Twitter interaction between JT and Phil just kind of encapsulates Phil so perfectly. JT tweets, one last thing from yesterday. At Phil Mickelson used a claw grip on 17 on that short putt, which they mentioned on the broadcast. Never saw him do that before. Perfect example. It doesn't matter how to get it done, just matters getting it done. Comfort knowing you can do something in that moment means. Phil goes, nice catch. The ball rolled into a low area, and I wanted to launch it higher, so it didn't push into the ground and shoot offline. The claw allows me to angle the shaft vertical and eliminate my forward press. And so JT goes, your answer is the least surprising thing I've heard today. Never change, Phil.
It's funny because there's a lot of Twitter interactions between Dahman and Higgs and all kinds of other guys. They still love Phil. Like we're kind of like Phil's the old guy that needs to go play in the senior tour. But it's also why we believe that he should be on the mic like every Saturday and Sunday.
He's grown on me a lot. But.
Yeah, he is with me too. There's a point there I've had enough of him, but now it's just like he wears the shades and he is like has a complete, like you said, fig jam, and it's just like, let's go play golf. And I'm kind of there for that now.
Yeah,
so we'll see how it goes. But Colonial Country Club is where they'll play golf this week for every year since 1946, as we talked about, since they've had this tournament. It's a par 70, 7,209 yards, a little over 7,200 yards. I believe this is where Jordan Spieth lives, or it's his home course, basically. So there's a reason he plays well here, plus the Texas narrative, which you get for a lot of people at this event. Bent grass greens. The greens are a little below average in size. They don't run super quick. They're not slow, but with the wind always in Texas, you can't go crazy. But, below average size greens, so kind of scrambling comes into play from time to time. The par threes are all over 190, so you have to have a good long par three type game, long iron game in that regards. With the par 70, there's two par fives. One of them is 635 yards, so it's like you're not even eagling that one, so it's a three-shot par five. There's 7 par fours under 430 yards, so wedges will be very important on most of those holes. Tight fairways, lots of dog legs, so the way it lays out feels like you're almost playing a Pete Dye, the way they make you hit it to certain spots. You can't just go bombs away. They said last year that the guys went bombs away because there's no fans there. Once there's fans and grandstands, it takes away a lot of the bombs away approach. So keep that in mind if you're looking at past event history and everything. But it's a shot maker's golf course. It's a kind of a second shot and a putting type event, and it'll be kind of interesting, especially with all the past event history. And the other thing is it's kind of like an invitational. Only 121 golfers, T65 and ties. So over half the field makes it to the weekend. So 6 to 6 should be fun come Friday afternoon. Jesse, what kind of stats are you looking at this week?
Well, plenty of course history, obviously. So weight that quite a bit. And then, strokes gained approach. I would weight birdie or better versus bogey avoidance. And, check the weather because that might be a factor. It's Texas. You never know. It could be windier than hell.
Yeah, it could be a very interesting weather-wise, especially with it kind of warming up out here and warming up around the country. So it could be fun to watch that. And a lot of the past event history is going to be key in this one. It's not as much of a bomber's paradise, so that kind of helps bring a lot of guys into the field. Speaking of the field, let's talk a little fancier sports real quick. Use promo code AlwaysPress to get your 20% off the package of your choice. Last 6 events on courses that are par 70s, 7,200 to 7,400 yards. DK scoring-wise, Colin Morikawa leads the way, followed by Justin Thomas, Scott Stallings, Justin Rose, Daniel Berger, and Jordan Spieth. Didn't think I'd see a Scott Stallings mention already this soon in the podcast. Last 6 events on just Texas courses, because we've had a lot of them lately, and the Texas narrative is always large. Kevin Kisner checks the box there. Matt Kuchar, Justin Rose, Corey Connors, and Jordan Spieth. When you do the last 6 events on bent grass greens, Justin Thomas, Patrick Reed, Ryan Palmer, Tony Finau, Sebastian Munoz, and last but not least, just the last at this golf course since 2015, since DraftKings has started. Scoring-wise, Rose has only played in 3 of them, but he's tops on the list. Jordan Spieth is second. Patrick Reed is third. I'm trying to get guys that played at least 3 or more events. Kevin Na checks the boxes there. Corey Connors as well. So all different types of skill sets are in play this week, as we discussed. But let's get cracking on this one. DK picks coming up, 10K and above. Jordan Spieth leads the way, Jesse, at 11-2. Thomas, 11,000. Morikawa, 10-5. Patrick Reed, 10-3. And Daniel Berger, 10,000. It's a very, very top-heavy field, it feels like. How are we looking at this one?
Yeah, it's crazy to see Spieth at the highest price, is it not?
You've been on Team Spieth. It was like $6,000.
I have, but, he was $7,500 at the Phoenix Open, which was February 7th.
Feels like forever ago.
It does feel like forever ago. Golf season is so long, man. Anyways, I think it's worthy. You know, obviously he's won here. He's got top 10 finishes in 5 of his last 6 starts at this golf course. 2018, he finished 32nd. Otherwise, he's finishing in the top 10. So plays well here. Playing very well recently, too. I thought he'd have more success last week. From what I heard, I haven't seen stats, looked at really a whole hell of a lot. His putter wasn't working that great.
A lot of lip outs.
Yeah, that's what that's what I'd heard. So I think that was in the early morning. They were talking about him. You know, he's going out, and him if he could get his putter going. Anyways, long story short, Jordan Spieth, I'll play him. Now, JT playable, yes. I don't know that I will. Finished 10th here last year, coming off the missed cuts PGA Championship. Not put a whole lot of weight on that. I don't know. To me, he hasn't been playing. I don't know. He won the Players Championship, and since then, 21st, 13th, 26th. To me, it's just blah. And he could figure it out and win this week for sure. Win by 10, but do I think he will? I don't know. I think Colin Morikawa will be super popular. Obviously, finished second here last week, finished second here last year, 8th place last week, 7th at the Heritage. He's not missed a cut since the Shriners Open back in October. And then Berger is very playable too. Obviously, the defending champion, made the cut at the PGA Championship, was playing very well before that too. So the guys that I'm really gonna like that I'll 100% for sure play Jordan Spieth, and then Morikawa would be my second pick.
Yeah, we're kind of on the same page. I'm curious to see, like, Morikawa, I agree, will be popular. I'm curious on Spieth as well, because it's such a top-heavy field. Like, there's guys down below we can make arguments for, of course, but it is a little interesting when you look at the lower-owned options to go stars and scrubs type approach.
Right, and you, like you said, in the 65 and ties, 120-man field,
yep,
you would think 6-6 would be elevated because of that, unless some major chalk just misses. So.
Yep. The only way it's not going to be a lot of 6-6 is if, say, like a Spieth or a Morikawa or some guys we talk about in the 9K range miss the cut. Yeah, then it gets interesting. But right, you can take some deeper shots, is what we're trying to say. And I think Spieth's going to be very popular, but I think a very good reason to be popular. I like Morikawa as well. But if you feel like playing the ownership game, I'm always in on Patrick Reed's 7th here last year, 15th in 2016, 17th at the PGA Championship, 6th at Wells Fargo. We know what Patrick Reed can do. And if it turns into an issue where it's windy and you got to be able to scramble around the greens, not many better than Patrick Reed. So his issue is always just getting off the tee consistently. And with the tight fairways, that could become an issue. But he's fared well here before. So I think he's a nice pivot. But yeah, it's Spieth and Morikawa for me as well. And I'm really, really liking Morikawa. Like, I liked him last week. He just fit, like, you talk about ball strikers and approach game. Like, this is what he does. But then again, if I feel that way, why am I not on Justin Thomas? So right, wrap your head around that. Because literally, he did everything right last week. He was basically average on all strokes gained categories. And he missed the cut on the number. Like, we could have seen him do something crazy if he has, like, just clicked a little bit in one section. So you never know with JT. I'm not worried about him at all, like you said. If you want to play JT, there's no problem with that either. 9K range, though, you got Willie Z at 99. I'm real curious to see how popular he is, because this seems like a Willie Z type week for the masses to attack, basically. Answer at 97, Finau 96, Scheffler 95, Connors 94, Neiman 93, Woodland 92, Sungjae 91, Kokrak 9,000. Jesse, I almost wrote down every name in this range. This is really, really tilting to me because I'm going to have to narrow it down. So where are you sitting?
Yeah, it's loaded. There's plenty of names. Obviously, Zalatoris, I still wonder about the burnout for him, man. I mean, he's playing every week. He's the new Sungjae, right?
Yep.
8th place at the PGA Championship, though. I mean, obviously, it's not wearing him out too much. So I think he's playable. I think Answer will be super popular.
Mm-hmm.
Had a very good Sunday round. Shot 65 on Sunday. Finished 8th. 3 straight top 10s for him.
Yep. Texas
narrative. 3 straight cuts made here at this, at Colonial. 14th last year was his best finish. I think he'll be super popular. Scotty Scheffler, super popular because of Texas. Corey Connors, playing very well. I mean, I saw a stat where he's like, his ball striking numbers are just absurd. Anyways, I like him too. Neiman's playable. Gary Woodland, all of a sudden, he figured it out, I guess. ninth place here last year. He was in the mix until he shot 77 on Sunday. Finished 38th at the PGA Championship, and then Kokrak. So if I'm going to narrow it down, I have half a mind to just eat the answer chalk.
Mm-hmm.
I think Will Zalatoris is playable, and then I like Kokrak at the bottom down there. I think he'll kind of go overlooked with all these other guys up top.
Yeah, the answer chalk seems like something I'm going to have to eat. I love Corey Connors too, because you're talking ball striking, but he's going to be chalky as well. So it's like, how much chalk we can eat with Spieth and Morikawa and Answer and Connors? It's like, damn, I can't eat it all. But I love Answer this week. He's one I will most likely eat. And Connors, if something changes, I'm going to want some Connors for sure, because like you mentioned, the stats of his ball striking are ridiculous. So I'm a big fan there. But I think the way to get interesting is, Scotty Scheffler, Texas narrative, finished 55th here last year. He had the quietest 8th place finish ever. I don't think I saw him on TV one time.
Once. Yeah, he was on one time Sunday.
Yeah, I
didn't realize he was in the top 10.
I literally did not until I started making my notes for this. I was thinking, like, literally during the day, I'm like, okay, it's Texas. We got some Texas boys. I wonder if Scotty's playing this week. Like, start making my notes. I'm like, what in the world?
That broadcast was like, if Phil, like, they love showing Phil no matter what happens, right? Just Phil making the weekend, and then it was like on steroids because obviously he's winning the tournament. It was just insane. Like, just don't show anybody else ever. Fuck it.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. But I think Scheffler, if he's low owned, could be very nice. And then Sungjae could be a nice pivot too. We talk ball striking, quietly still playing good golf. Like, you can make arguments for this whole range. I love Finau, but Answer and Connors are the ones I want the most. But could definitely see myself pivoting to like a Scheffler. Kokrak should be low owned, like you mentioned. I don't think I can get back on Woodland just yet. I still need to see that a little more often from him. 8K range, we got Justin Rose at 89, Horschel at 88, Hoffman 87, Palmer 86, Mickelson 86 or 85, Na 84, Streelman 83, Wallace 82, Tringali 81, Brian Harmon 8,000. Got some nice looks here too. Jesse, who you liking?
Yeah, there's plenty here. Billy Horschel at 88, 38th, 19th, 34th in his last 3 starts here. 4 straight made cuts, 2 straight top 25s for him. So at 8,800, like him. Charlie Hoffman, Texas narrative. He missed the cut here last year, but before that had made a shit ton of cuts in a row, like 6. He's actually been playing very well. 4 straight top 20s for Charlie Hoffman, including the 17th place at the PGA Championship. So playing really good golf right now. Like him quite a bit at 8,700. Kevin Na doesn't not rate out very well on the model, but he just tends to play well here. Miscut last year, but that was coming off COVID or whatever. Kind of give guys a little bit of slack there. First, 4th, and his 2 starts before that at this at this Charles Schwab event, whatever the fuck you want to call it, Colonial in Texas, whatever it is. Now, is form coming in miscut, 29th miscut, 12th WD. I mean, he's up and down. I would not put him in a cash game. I think he's very GBP live. Matt Wallace at 8,200. He did miss the cut here last year, but has been playing very solid golf as of of late. He made the cut to PGA Championship, finished 55th, 6th at the Wells Fargo, 18th the Heritage. So playing well there. So those are the guys that I'll be focusing on in this range.
Yeah, I got Hoffman down. I think he's very, very intriguing, Texas narrative, and played really, really good golf right now. Like that missed cut he had, he wasn't playing good golf then. Like he's playing much, much better golf here. So I'm on that train with you. I think Na is very intriguing. I love Matt Wallace this week. I loved him last week. He had a couple hiccups. He actually played pretty decent golf overall. Just a couple hiccups late in the week kind of burned things there. But I do like some Matty Wallace as well. What's your thoughts on Justin Rose at $8,900?
So we're getting to a steep price on him. If he's at 7,500 or even 8,000, maybe I would consider it a lot more. Obviously, he's played very well around here. I'm with you, kind of like with Woodland. I'm not fully on board.
I think the thing with Rose, at least we've seen him do it a little more often, I guess. If you're eating some of the chalk up top, Rose is likely to become low owned again. And you have a guy that does have win equity that, of course, he's played very well at. So in a tournament, if you want to bite the Rose button there, I wouldn't use him in cash. But if you want to bite it there, I could see the appeal to it. And that's kind of the angle, because he should come in at least sub 10%, where you're going probably 20+% on some of those other guys we mentioned earlier. So something to think about with Rosie there. The last guy I like a lot in this range, because I seem like I always like this guy, but Brian Harmony's made at least 5 straight cuts here. 23rd last go around. Missed a cut at the PGA, whatever. 18th at the Wells Fargo, 13th at the RBC Heritage, 12th at the Masters, 5th at the match play. Like, the dude's playing some outstanding golf. So Harmon at 8,000, of course, where bombing's not required. He can play his shots off the tee and his approach game and on the dog legs. Really, really fits him well. So Harmon at 8,000 is a guy I like quite a bit. $7,500 to $7,900. Who you like him there, Jesse?
Start up top with Sneds. I only go back to 2011, but I don't show him missing a cut since then. Do you have anything prior to 2011?
Nothing prior to, no.
17th and 11th in his last 2 starts. He didn't play the PGA Championship, but that was the Byron Nelson, which was obviously in Texas, Valspar, which was not. But either way, playing good. Matt Jones, 7,800, 38th miscut, 63rd miscut in his last 4 starts. I mean, he's just on and off, or as far as the miscuts making the cut at this golf course goes. But since his win at the Honda Classic, he's backed it up 26th, 37th, 30th in those 3 starts, including that 30th place finish at the PGA Championship, where he was one of the Aussies who made the cut, and the rest of them, except for Cam Smith, missed it. We can talk about Leishman and Adam Scott.
Had Leishman and X and one other guy, Brian Harmon. They all just trunk slammed in the last hole.
No, well,
that was fun.
It's good to know. Ian Poulter at 77. He had some flashes last week. He was kind of around, finished 30th. Has played well here in the past. When I say play well, he's made a shit ton of cuts. He missed the cut in 2016, but other than that, 29th, 70th, 5th, 76th, 8th, 15th. I mean, he's played well at this golf course before, so I think he's okay. And then at 7,500, a couple guys, Cam Davis. I was very surprised to see that he played well and made the cut last week when all the other guys didn't, who are kind of what would I consider. I mean, he shot 69, 78 and still made the cut the first 2 days. Anyways, Cam Davis, he has missed his only start here as far as the cut goes, but I think he's GBP viable. And Peter Uline, man, 7,500. I'm back on my dude. 14th, 13th in his last 2 starts at Colonial. His last time out to Byron Nelson, he missed the cut. I think that was when the cut was like, I don't remember what it was, but he didn't play terrible, 70, 71. So it's not like he was way off there. So I like Uline quite a bit.
Byron Nelson was like, what, 5 under par to get through the weekend or some crap like that. Yeah.
All of them are starting to run together now at this point.
But there's a lot to like here. I think Grillo is very interesting. If we're talking about a guy, or Grillo, we're talking about a guy that great ball striker. It's always can he putt. Missed the cut here last year, but 19th, 3rd, 24th in his last 3 years prior to that. Coming in with the 38th last weekend and a 14th at Wells Fargo. I think Grillo at 7,900 is a nice option for you here. I do like Matt Jones at 78. I like Poulter at 77 for the reasons you mentioned. And then Chris Kirk at $7,600, 60th last year, 11th, 67th, 15th. He's obviously won here before, coming in with back-to-back missed cuts, but prior to that was playing really good golf, 7th, 6th, 25th, 48. So maybe coming back to a course that he's done very well, it could be very beneficial for him. And then another guy coming off a missed cut last week, but then 17th at the Byron Nelson, 18th at the Heritage. I'm intrigued by Cooch at $7,600. I haven't been on him in a while, but he keeps getting lower and lower owned each week, and he checks the box of a guy missed cut here in 2020, but played really well here prior to that. So Cooch at 76, if you're a past event history guy, he can be quite like him and Kirk, guys that are coming in with kind of wishy-washy form, but really good past event history, could be quite interesting.
I don't disagree.
$7,000 to $7,400. Who you liking here?
Neesmith at 7,300. Just from a stats perspective, he's hitting it pretty well and hasn't missed a cut since the Players Championship back in March. Kevin Kisner. So here we go. $7,200. Past winner here, 2017. He won this event. He's missed 2 cuts out of 7 since 2014 at this event. So been a pretty steady event for him and pretty good. But I went back to 2018 and I don't have him missing more than 2 cuts in a row.
Yeah, it's funky.
He's missed 5 straight cuts. And I don't feel like he's been really close since. But I also feel like Kevin Kisner, of all people, like he could miss 5 straight cuts and then come out and win.
Yeah.
So, and at $7,200, I feel like it's just we're getting a little bit of low territory there for him. So, I will play him. Vegas at 7,100. 3 straight made cuts at this particular tournament, coming off the ninth place finish at the Byron Nelson, and has made 3 straight cuts on tour. So I think he's fine at 7,100.
Yeah, I like the Kiz comment because I think he's just too cheap for his talent level, and he's
gonna figure it out, right?
He's gonna figure it out, and it's a short course that takes bombers out of the way. That stuff that brings Kisner right to the pack. We know he doesn't like these courses that are big for him. There's no chance last week was going to go well for Kevin Kisner. Wells Fargo's a long course that is going to be wishy-washy depending on things for him. He's now at a course where, on paper, suits his game very, very well. Now, who knows where his game's at? Obviously, not looking great, but at his price point, like if he figures it out, you would not be shocked if you see him top 10 by the end of this week. So at $7,200, I'm 100% on board with you there, and hopefully comes in low owned because of the mess of late. I think Joel Dahmen at 74. If we're talking about a guy that doesn't need distance as much, but accuracy is key. 19th here last year, miscut at 20th. So when he plays well here, he finishes well. I like him at that price point. Taylor Gooch at 73. Another guy that's played pretty well at this event, 23rd here last year. 43rd at 20, made 2 straight cuts and 3 straight cuts on tour, 44th last week. So Gooch at 73 is in play. Doug Gim has been so bad, but he's kind of like the Kisner bucket for me. Kisner's better than Gim for me. Don't get me wrong. But it's just Gim's got that same thing because putting's horrible, but ball striking is usually pretty good. Can he figure it out? Who knows? Problem is he's always chalky because of Pat Mayo, so that kind of ruins it. But $7,200 is getting cheap, so someone to keep in mind. And the last 2 I have down here, and I'm going to kind of mix and match a lot of guys down here to somewhat stars and scrubs without getting too scrubby. But Pat Perez, 49th withdrawal, 42nd last 3 years here, but coming on with 3 straight made cuts, 39th, 26th, 29th at the Nelson, Fargo, and Valspar Championship. So Flat Bill is starting to maybe come back into form at $7,100. You mentioned Vegas. He plays great in Texas, so I'm on board with you there. And then Sabatini as well, 14th, 6th, and 20th the last 3 years here, 26th at the Byron Nelson. So a couple guys down below that you can have some fun with for sure. 6K range, what you like in here?
I mean, start up top at 69 with Champ, $6,900 for Cameron Champ. Same type of situation or similar to Kevin Kisner. I just feel like we're getting a little bit too cheap here. He's made the cut in his 2 appearances here, 14th and 58th. It's been up and down all around, shot 82, 77. I was so happy to get him. I was so happy to get him at like sub 2% ownership. Yeah. And I was like gloating about it after lock. He shoots 82. That was really fun. So, I mean, in a GBP at $6,900, Cameron Champ, I would take him over the rest of these guys around in this area. And then there's one guy down at 62. You got to know what I'm talking about.
Yep. I'm hoping no one else knows it, but he's got to be mentioned on every show, right?
I mean,
we've been playing him this whole time.
6,200. What are we doing?
Wasn't he 68 or 69 at least last time?
7,000 last time out to Byron Nelson.
I saw 62 and thought it was a typo.
They fucked up.
Did they mean 72?
Yeah, Vincent Whaley. He hasn't missed a cut since the Phoenix Open. Knock on wood.
They're decent finishes for his price point too.
Yeah, 26, 26, 29. 3 straight top 30s. Top 30s. I am Irish. Eastern Kentucky Irish. But 3 straight top 30s for the guy, and we're going to put him down here. And I mean, like his worst finish since he's missed his cut was 50th, which is right after his missed cut. And then he starts 15th, 36th, 28th, 34th. What are we doing?
I'll take a 50th at $6,200 right now.
I just hope he's buried so low nobody pays attention because I feel like he'll be chalky. But at $6,200, I mean, you got to play him. I mean, like, to me, he's almost cash game viable at that point.
If you are digging down there, I would say yes. Because he's in a field where half the guy want
to play down here.
Well, and over half the field makes the cut. Obviously it's golf, anything can happen. But my goodness, he's playing better than he's coming in better form than probably at least a third of this field.
Yeah, I mean, it's look at Kevin Kisner. He's $7,200, missed 5 straight cuts.
Yeah, maybe they should be flipping prices. I don't know, but I know Kiss should never be 62. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's Jesus. So yeah, I had Whaley down here too. He should be over 20% owned, but he won't be because 6K never is, especially 6,200. But maybe that gets you more of your Morikawa Spieth combos or something. Who knows? It fits the mold real easily. I'll tell you that much. But I do like him quite a bit. McNeely is always interesting on a shorter golf course at 69. If it's not always a birdie fest here, but if birdies become gettable on these shorter wedge fest type things, McNeely at 69 is in play. Joseph Bramlett's actually playing really good golf at $6,700, so I like him as a punt. A couple others, because I think Stars and Scrubs could be fun this week. Hubbard at 61 is a birdie machine, so he's a guy to keep an eye on with a wedge fest. And then RCB, shorter golf courses, more precision, not bomber type golf courses. I'll keep an eye on RCB. Finished 23rd here last year, 21st the Byron Nelson after a couple missed cuts. He's not playing great golf, but that's why he's priced at $6,400. So I think he's interesting in a tournament as well. Recapping things real quick, Jesse, 10K and above, who you got?
Spieth.
I'll give you Spieth. I'll take Morikawa, but I'm really curious to see the ownership on Thursday morning when these things lock on those two. 9K range, who's your guy?
One.
Okay, take two. That's a loaded range. Take two. It's ridiculous. Take four. No.
Just get the whole range. So just go ahead and put that down on paper. That I select the whole range of 9Ks. That way, when one of them wins, I can tout it on Twitter. I'll say, just to be a little bit different, Zalatoris and Connors.
Yeah, I'm going to go Answer. And since you took Connors, I'll go Answer and Scheffler to be a little different. Okay. But I think everybody gets the gist here. And lately, I've been doing a lot of 3 9K guys and mixing and matching. I'll have to play around with this later. I wonder if you can do 4 with Whaley and see what the last pick is. That could be intriguing.
Let's say we go Scheffler, Connors,
Answer,
and Answer,
and Whaley.
Yeah, that leaves 7,600.
Oh, you could do that easily. That's ridiculous.
3, yeah.
What's the 4th 9K guy?
We'll put Kokrak in there. That drops you down to 62.
And then you could put Hubbard in or Gillick, or it's not impossible. Let's put it that way.
No, it's not impossible at all.
It's not as
actually
attractive.
Decently comfortable putting 3 in there with Whaley.
Yeah, because if you can get 2.7, like you could even do like an 8K guy and a mid-6 if you wanted. Like that's gonna be fun to toy around with. 8K range. Who you got there?
Hoffman.
I like that. I'll go Matty Wallace. I'll stick with Wallace. Like Harmon's there too. Damn, I like that range as well. $7,500 to $7,900. Who you got?
Sneds and Uline.
I'll go with Kirk and Griot. 7,000 to 7,400.
I'll say Neesmith.
I'm gonna go. I'll go Kisner. I'll plant the flag with Team Kiz. We'll go Team Kiz on this one, and then I think we're both on board with Whaley. It's our top 6K play. Like,
yeah,
I'm already looking forward to the text messages on Thursday afternoon or Friday morning. It's gonna be fun.
One other guy that I kind of somehow glossed over, Maverick McNeely. He's made 2 straight cuts here, 32nd, 42nd his last 2 starts. He has missed 2 straight cuts on tour this year, but had a 4th place finish at the Heritage. I think he's very GPP viable at 69.
Yeah, he fits this course very well. McNeely and Bramlett, a couple other 6K options for you there. If you're starting a cash game, what are you starting with?
Cash is going to be rough, but I think Connors, probably Hoffman. And like I said, I think Whaley is borderline, but like he would let you do a lot of shit, and 5 or 6 might be okay this week. I don't know.
Yeah, I had Connors, Harmon, and Kirk, but pretty similar thoughts here. But then the GPPs are going to get fun this week. So, who do you got starting a GPP out?
Definitely like Spieth. I think is in Uline, and then I would throw in somebody. I hate to eat the chalk, but Answer, man. And then try to get different elsewhere.
I wrote down Morikawa, Answer, and Whaley. So I got 2 chalks, and then hopefully Whaley's not owned. And then the beautiful thing is if you use Whaley, then you still have so much leverage to do whatever you want to avoid chalk. Right. So you have, I'm just scared though, like a $6,200 chalky plays.
I just don't see him. I don't see him. I don't think he'll be over 10%.
Yeah.
Because the name is not known that well. I don't know. Have you listened to
6,200?
I haven't listened to anybody obviously yet this week.
Nothing yet from me either. Nothing DFS wise. No.
It depends on if somebody like Mayo catches on or something.
We'll see. They probably.
I don't know if he's been on him in past weeks or not, but
yeah, we'll see. At worst, like most guys don't go down to $6,200 more than like 4 to 5% anyway. So
no. I mean, it's like max usually 5. Yeah, and that's probably a big name at 6,900. He's buried at 62, so.
Could be fun.
I can't wait for this to end so terribly.
I know. When we talk about it, I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be freaking horrible. But it'll be okay. Lots of other things going on the weekend. Who you got winning this thing? I don't know why I pulled up the baseball odds, but I'll pull up golf right now.
I don't know why you wouldn't be
there we
betting
go.
Vincent Whaley.
Yeah, what's his odds at? Let me see. I'm just going to the bottom here.
500 to 1.
Put a T20 on that.
That's why he's at 6,200 on DraftKings.
Oh man, same price as Robbie Shelton and Jing Zhang and Hudson Swafford.
Eric Compton is 1,000 to 1.
Jesus,
there's some wild names down there at the bottom.
But you got winning this.
I think Connors at 25 is interesting. You could look at somebody like Kokrak at 40.
You want to know why Harmon's mispriced on DK? He's 33 to 1 here. He's 8K on DK.
Yeah, that's a significant difference in odds there for sure.
Interesting.
And then Kevin Na 66 past winner.
Not bad at all. A few others, if you want to have some fun here, long shot wise, Kiz is 100 to 1, man. I don't think he's gonna win, but that's a steep tag for Kiz. When we talk about him, it's gonna be a fun Friday as well.
100%. Like that's worth throwing a couple bucks on at 100 to 1 with Kevin.
At least you can get good T20 odds on a guy like that, and he can easily do that. So that's fun. Like Grillo at 50, I don't know if he wins, but Wallace at 50. I think Wallace is due for a win here eventually.
I do too.
I think Wallace at 50 is a fun one on this field. So I think that'd be my longest shot here. But like in reality, even Kawa at 14 or Reed at 22, like those aren't horrible numbers. Finau at 22. So have some fun with it. See where it all goes. It'll be a fun week at the Charles Schwab. We're 3 weeks away from Torrey Pines in the U.S. Open, so that'll be a doozy. Any final thoughts, Jesse?
I don't, man. Watch the weather and good luck.
Yeah, come join us in the Slack chat if you have any questions. It's free. All the goodies there. If you did watch this on YouTube, if you'd like to like and share, we'd appreciate that as well. And give a rating and review on the podcast on iTunes. It would help a ton. You can find the podcast on Twitter at AlwaysPressDFS. Jesse is at DFS Golf Gods. I am at BDintric, and we'll catch you guys next week.